Hello, lovers of French. Once again, we are here with Learn French with Glenn. I can see you're benefiting from our lesson and you have requested for more lessons to come your way. And so, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the lessons that are coming up. And today, we are doing something really crucial in your journey to learning French. We're going to be looking at verbs. It's true, last time out we looked at the subject, object, and also verb link, which is very key to be able to build sentences, build phrases, to be able to communicate in French. And so we're going to look at that central part, which is the verbs. And in French, verbs are divided into three main groups. They are les verbes du premier groupe, les verbes du deuxième groupe, et les verbes du troisième groupe. And to start our learning, we're going to be looking at one of these three groups in French, which are les verbes du premier groupe. Most French verbs follow a pattern, right? And so we'll be looking at that pattern today. So as always, I've got my lesson plan, and then we're going to take it part after part. So part one, what are the verbs of the first group, or what are les verbes du premier groupe? So les verbes du premier groupe are verbs that end in er. So these are verbs. So the way you characterize verbs in different groups is les terminaisons. So they call them les terminaisons. So the ending of the verb. So in French, there are particular endings that characterize different verbs. So the verb du premier groupe end in er or er, as you would say in French. So a good example for les verbes du premier groupe. Le verbe travailler, to work. So any verb that you see or you find that has the ending er, except le verbe aller, except le verbe aller. We'll look at all that later. So they are the most common type of verbs, and they are the easiest ones to learn. Okay, so les verbes du premier groupe are the most common ones, and they are the easiest ones to learn. So part two, right? So the base, every verb has a base. So there is the base and there is la terminaison. So let's take, for example, one verb, the verb manger, to eat. So when we remove the terminaison er or er, you have the base, which is mange. So the original verb is manger, which classifies as a third as a first group verb, but there is a base to each verb, which is what you get when you take out the terminaison, if you understand what I'm saying. So the ending. So when you look at verbs, you must also take into consideration pronouns. Okay, so you must accord the pronouns and find out how the verb links up with a particular pronoun. So for example, you need to accord the verb in context to the particular pronoun, so you have to have the terminaison. So in French, we have pronouns like je, tu, il ou elle, nous, vous, il ou elle. So I, you, he or she, we, them or they, and then il ou elle. So yeah, so that's the basic, that's a basic thing. So when you look at it now, you look at the termination. So for je is e at the end, so you take out the r and you replace it with, you just leave it with the e. And then you talk about tu, you take out the r and you replace it with an s. So it's gonna be mange, manges. And then il ou elle is gonna be just the e, like je. And then nous is you're going to have to remove the er, leave the base of mange, and then add ons. So ons is going to be the terminaison or the ending. So vous is going to be ez. So you take out the r and you just put a z at the end, and then il is going to be ent. So ent is the terminaison for il pluriel. So part 4 is going to be the full conjugation, or the full conjugation, sorry. So you have je mange, mange, tu manges, manges, il mange, mange, sorry. Then nous mangeons, mangeons. Then vous mangez, mangez. Il mange, magent. So this is called conjugating a verb from the first group. Donc la conjugation des verbes du premier groupe. So repeat after me. Je mange, tu manges, nous mangeons, vous mangez, il ou elle mange. Okay? So you can use it in sentences. So this is connecting what you've learned. So part 6 is using these in sentences. So je mange du riz. So I eat rice. Okay? Je mange du riz. So the riz here is R-I-Z. And then tu manges du pain. Okay, pain is bread. So tu manges du pain. And then for plural, nous mangeons à 8 heures. Okay, so it's the same structure: subject, verb, object, or COD or COE. Okay, don't try to memorize everything at once. Just focus on the pattern, which is the ending. So if you know the endings, you are good to go. Okay, so you can do the same thing with a second verb. You can use parler. You can use there's quite a few verbs. There's a few verbs that you can use to conjugate as well, or to use in a sentence. You have aimer, you have regarder. So you have a couple of them that you could use to have your example and to memorize. Okay. So yeah, now you understand les verbes du premier groupe. In the next lessons, we will learn one of the most important verbs in French, which is le verbe être. And then probably we'll look into the verbe du deuxième groupe and then le verbe du troisième groupe, which is very important. So subscribe and follow this course step by step, and you're making real progress. Most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss any other lesson. I'll see you later, guys, for the next lesson. And yeah, enjoy yourself and learn well.